So today we are going to talk on the general subject. It's actually general in one way, business planning and budgeting. And as I am aware, all of you would be doing this in some way or the other, because no business can run without any sort of planning or budgeting. So we'll start now. So today's contents, what we are going to talk about is the basic definition of the business plan, importance of that, how to prepare it, and then coming on to the budget side, how to prepare the budget, the P&L accounts, and how to enhance the profitability through lean practices or TPM practices, and how to improve your employee engagement. Because as I have seen, the employee engagement is one of them which is missing in many industries with respect to budget and the business planning. That also we'll be touching upon. And a few tips to handling the new situation post-COVID. So we'll start off with what's the business plan. Before that, we'll just touch upon the ground reality as on today, which will always be there. So you have a tough competition because as on today, you find there are no product for which there are now more than one supplier. Once upon a time, it was a seller's market. Today, it's a buyer's market. So you have competition in every product that we make. And technology is changing very fast. New things are happening, and we are already on the way to Industry 4.0. And we always live in uncertain market because customer demands vary. And we have always got a tough competition with respect to quality and price because customer always wants the highest quality and at the lowest price. And of course, at a shorter lead time, he wants off the shelf always. And another challenge is increase in input prices. The various inputs that we have like steel, oils, all of them are increasing. And higher liabilities for failure, especially wherever we are supplying to the aerospace or the automotive market. The liability insurance is a must as on today. Whoever is supplying that, please, and especially if you are exporting, please enter into a liability insurance so that it will be a safeguard for the company. And another challenge is poor employee involvement. It's a very, very strong point that we all should note that the employee involvement is one of the most critical factors in making the organization challenges a success. So why businesses are not successful? Some of the reasons are poor product quality. Then we have poor delivery, poor service, after service, very high price and no value for money, bad product selection, and there are many more other reasons. And one of the most important reasons is lack of business plan with clarity for the whole organization. This is one of the most important things which many organizations do in some way or the other. Recently, about a year ago, before this COVID started, I had visited one of the prospective clients of mine to support him in starting from his vision activities, business plan activities. He has a company of about 150 people, but his business plan is in a register. He was maintaining a register and write down for himself and his partner and the finance guy. Nobody else knows what's happening. I think that is one area where we all should realize that if the business plan is not communicated successfully to the concerned stakeholders, the performance also will get affected. So lack of business plan with clarity is one of the most important reasons why businesses are not very successful. So what's a business plan? A business plan is a blueprint of your business. I hope all of you agree. It's a description of the company, the products and services, the market, the clients, the operational techniques, what we use, human resource development, HR, infrastructure, and financial details. The whole thing is in one package is called a business plan. It represents past and present status, but focuses always on the future. So what are the objectives of this business plan? We have to effectively utilize our marketing strength, innovation, HR, financial resources, physical infrastructure and new technology, operations, where this is a standard which all of us are familiar with. PQD SCM, that is productivity, quality, delivery, safety, morale, cost, the social responsibility and profit requirements. And the business goals to deal with and to achieve are quality, highest quality, 100% delivery at the lowest cost, always new innovative products and services, growth, profitability, and environmental compliance. So these areas, if we have to focus on, our business plan should also focus on how we are going to derive these parameters from the organization, how we are going to achieve them. And to do this, we need to continuously have a continuous improvement process in the organization. So we'll talk of SWOT analysis. I think many of you would be using this in some form or the other, not only for business analysis, maybe for your problem solving also. So here what we need to understand is we have to understand what is the voice of the employee, voice of the customer. That is what the customer requires, what are his requirements, needs, what are his future requirements also. Then what is the voice of the business? How is the business going to run? Who are the competitors? Where is your stand? What is special about your organization? And internally, what is the voice of the process? Are we geared up to meet all these requirements? And to do that, we also have this process called SWOT analysis. It's a very old technique where when we talk of strengths, we talk of capabilities, what we have, how strong we are in what, that should be very clear. It should be written down actually. Then what are the competitive advantage you have over your competitors? What are the resources, assets, and people you have? How are you going to make them more stronger? What sort of trainings you will give? The experience and knowledge and data that you have is your strength. The marketing reach, financial returns, your new product development, that is innovative aspects, how you are geographically located. This also forms a very important because it involves cost. Geographical location of your business also is very important. Then price, value, and quality. That is the basis of your business. How strong are you in that? They are all your strengths. Then what are your weaknesses? What are the lack of capabilities you have should be known so that you will be adding those capabilities over a period of time. Gap in competitive strength. That means what strength does your competitors have which you don't have? Then what are the reputation and presence and reach of your competitors? Are you weak in some area where you need to work on? Then financials, your cash flow. How weak are you or how strong are you in that? How to make up that? Then effects on core activities of your organization. Reliability of the data and other details that you have in your company. Is it sufficient for you to plan properly? And then how strong is the management? Is the management weak or strong? That also we need to, when you say management, it is not the top, it's generally as how we are managing the industry. Then the opportunities you have, what are the new markets you have? What are the industry new trends? What are the new technologies available? What are the global markets and global influences that are happening? What are the new target markets? What are the new developments that you can do in your business, both in terms of products and locations and new customers? And if you have any threats, what are those threats? Is it to do anything with political and new rules or legislations brought by the government? Or the location of your company may have environmental effects for you to run? Or are there too many competitions coming where your business comes under threat? Or is the market demand coming down? New partners, new contracts are coming up. What are the obstacles? Poor management strategies. So you need to really analyze as a team, not as a one person. You need to really analyze as a team and see that you convert this opportunity and threats, or especially the threat into opportunity, opportunity into your strength. So to align this business plan, we have many systems. In that, two of them are very popular and familiar. One is the balanced scorecard method, and one is the policy deployment method that is called Hoshinkanri in Japanese language. We are not going to get into details, but I'm trying to guide you in that direction. So the balanced scorecard method, where the visionary strategy is classified into 4 areas. First is your customer. To achieve your customer vision, what are activities you're going to take? What are the objectives going to be? What measures, what targets, and what initiatives we are going to take and who are going to take is properly put in a chart with names of people, dates, everything. From the financial side, what are the objectives of the company going to be? Like what are the sales, your profitability, all these things come here. And how are you going to measure those objectives? What are the targets, month-wise or quarterly-wise, whichever way the company wants to, and what initiatives different people are going to take. Then comes the internal process. To satisfy these two, that is the financial and customer, what are the internal business processes that you are going to strengthen? Whether you are going to have only ISO systems or you're going to implement some new world-class manufacturing problem-solving systems in place, how you are going to do it, how are you going to measure it, they form one category. And last is to make these three achieve, what are the objectives of the learning and growth side? It is what are the areas, how you are going to strengthen your employees at all levels. So what are the objectives? How are they going to achieve that? So what training they require? How are you going to measure them? How are you going to ensure that what training is given is implemented and they are properly evaluated to achieve that vision? What are you going to do internally in the company? So it is done on the four-way classification basis in this method. Any questions? Okay. Yeah, Mr. Arun.
Sir, actually, I've not understood the significance of the balance card. I mean, where does this stand?
Which one?
Does this stand? The balance scorecard. Where does this stand actually? Is this in the vision statement, or I mean, does this encapsulate the vision statement, or where do we actually describe about the balance scorecard?
See, after the vision statement is made by the company's top management and the senior management,
yes, sir.
The method in which this strategy is made is classified under four headings.
Okay. Okay.
The top level vision, what you have, the main top 4 or 5 goals of the company, what the top and senior management decide for the next 3 years or 1 year or 5 years, that is divided or classified under 4 categories in balance scorecard method.
Okay.
One in the finance category, one in the customer side. How are we going to achieve the customer side vision?
Okay.
New products, the surveys, the customer service index, new products. How are we going to reach the customer goals? One is the internal business process and one in the learning and growth process. The 4 aspects of these are all part of the company itself, but it is classified in balance scorecard in these categories. That is made after the vision and strategy is made only.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That is divided under these categories.
Fine, sir.
In this method, some people, usually the European and American market, they all follow this balance scorecard, especially Europe side.
Okay.
Now they have started with policy deployment method. In India, we use both. And some of them go only by detailed business plan where all of these 4 categories are covered. But this is a very clear process here involved in balance scorecard, where for all the main goals of your company that you formulate, you are ensuring that in under each category, each of these visions, somebody is taking action at different levels. So before we getting into budgeting, let us understand the science of inadequate budgeting and planning. I think all of us must have experienced this in some way or the other during our experience in working or as entrepreneurs or as senior level people working on the nation. Management is highly reactive, stressful, and it becomes disorganized because your daily pressure starts, I want this to be done, blah, blah, blah. All of you must have faced it. At any cost, this should be done today. Customer is calling 10 times. It should go today at any cost. You must have heard all of this, no? That's what we call as management is highly reactive. Authority and accountability for results are very unclear. Somehow do it mentality. If that is existing, means there is something seriously wrong in our budgeting and planning method. Cash flow problems are common. Repeatedly, we land into not being able to pay to our vendors. We have cash flow problems. Persons responsible have difficulty in getting resources. Performance is not as per plan. Unexpected attrition and excess overtime. untrained employees performing important tasks, difficulty in meeting customer demands, quality and service requirements. When all this happens, that means we need to look at the way we are doing things and see what actions should be taken at what level, at what pace, because speed is very important here. This happens because of only, not that it doesn't happen, it does happen in all the organizations, no doubt, but it will be lesser as you make your system more streamlined and more easy to work. All these problems will start reducing. Not that it will vanish, but it will definitely reduce to a considerable extent. That's what I would like to say. Even in companies like Toyota and all these problems will exist, but to a very, very less extent. To a very less extent.